Welcome in to I Remember My First Time. Don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
God damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
I like the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nice.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we do love the shit out of movies. And this week's utter masterpiece made it on the 1001 Films You Should Watch Before You Die, the 2016 Western classic, Hell or High Water.
Wow. Jacob, sometimes a blind pig finds a truffle.
BJ, only assholes drink Mr. Pibb.
I am BJ Leica. I wouldn't know God if he crawled up my pant leg and bit me on the pecker.
Joined as always by me, Lord of the Plains, Jacob Ekus.
So, this week, we had Hell or High Water.
Great.
Just a wonderful movie.
Great movie.
Described by Netflix as, in a desperate bid to save their family ranch, two brothers stage a series of clever bank robberies with a pair of Texas Rangers in hot pursuit.
I liked your West Texas accent. Is that what that was supposed to be?
So being from East... Yeah. Being from East Texas, does it always shock you at how different the East Texas and West Texas accents are?
Yeah. Big time.
But moving on. 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. 97% on Rotten Tomatoes and 88% on Metacritic.
Wow. And what is it on IMDb?
7.6.
Weird. That's so weird.
No Roger Ebert for this movie, 2016. He had sadly passed 3 or 4 years prior. I picked the worst review I could find, which was a 60% from the critics by Tom Huddleston of Time Out London. In his review titled, "This dusty Texas crime story is well worn, but its simple pleasures hold up." Ah, Texas. Manly men, rusty trucks, desert skies, dusty streets, petty crime, giant hats, and rampant gun ownership. Did he nail it so far?
Yeah.
He kind of talks about, which I really disagree with him, about how it's kind of tropey and just kind of hits the same beats as most of the other Westerns, which I couldn't disagree with more.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I guess if you're doing the 4,000-foot flyover and you're like, oh, cops and robbers, and there's a big Bonnie and Clyde style shootout at the end, I guess from that perspective, yes, but man, this movie is so much more than that.
This movie was awesome. That guy's wrong.
He says that the performances are solid. Foster is a ball of tics and aggression, while Bridges could do this in his sleep. Chris Pine is a little too clean-cut to be playing a grizzled roughneck, but he throws himself into the role nonetheless. The result is a film with a fistful of memorable moments, most of them involving Bridges hurling insults at people, but not a great deal of anything new to say.
Okay. I'm sitting here like, The reason they were robbing the banks was a little new, and what they were going to do with the checks and then with the trust, I thought that was all pretty new.
Well, I thought the newest thing was essentially having this movie where there's no bad guys. You're both rooting for the cops and rooting for the robbers.
Yeah, I was never rooting for the cops. All about the boys.
Oh, I like Jeff Bridges and his partner. I wasn't rooting for them to catch the bad guys, but like I did not think the cops were the bad guys, if that makes sense.
Okay, I can get behind that. Like I was never rooting for them either, but I enjoyed their characters a lot. The other thing if you want to touch on, there are attractive cowboys in West Texas. Like Chris Pine isn't too attractive to play a rough hand.
Now I'm not saying that I've seen people as attractive as Chris Pine in West Texas, because there's like 4 people in the world that are as attractive as Chris Pine. But I've seen very attractive people in West Texas.
Yeah, like get off of it, dude.
Like every time you watch a movie that involves a doctor, or you're like, why are all these doctors so hot?
Yeah, right.
But either way, the lowest score on Metacritic from a critic was that guy at 60%. That tells you all you need to know about this film.
I agree. What a killer Metacritic following this movie has.
How did it do in the box office?
Well, it did pretty well considering its budget was a measly $12 million.
They did a lot with $12 million.
I think so too. And got some pretty big names for $12 million too. But in the box office, it made $38 million.
Okay. That's shocking. A movie this recent with that low of a box office made the 1,001 movies to watch before you die.
Right. I totally agree with that. I read that trivia and I was like, wow. Okay. But yeah, that's all I got on the budget. No details on DVDs, which is a lot harder to find than we initially thought.
But 2016, people had kind of moved away from DVDs for the most part.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd almost be more streaming numbers. But
yeah.
What'd you think of this movie?
Oh, this movie's incredible. I loved every minute of this movie from the moment it started to the moment it ended. I was never bored once. Not one single time was I bored. It was the action and the violence was never too much. I loved all the sentimental aspects of the story. I loved the chemistry between all of the actors. It was incredible. All of it incredible.
I agree with you. This movie is fantastic. It absolutely flies by watching it, and it flies by, and they're telling about 4 different stories in this movie, and they're doing a fantastic job with all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm. I watched this with Nema, like I always do in these movies, and she's like, "How long is it?" And I was like, "It's an hour and 47 minutes." And we started at like 11:15. And she's like, "I'm not going to make it to this movie." And I'm like, "That's okay. I've already seen this movie once. I'll finish whatever you don't finish with you. I like this movie enough." And an hour and 47 minutes later, I asked her how she liked the movie. And she was like, "That was really good."
Oh, I'm glad, because this is kind of a hard sell for to get most females to watch, because it's a Western titled Hell or High Water.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Pine probably helps.
Well, it also helps. She was never into movies before we started dating. And I'm such a big movie guy that I've opened up her world to just some incredible stuff to watch. And so she typically trusts my judgment for the most part. But yeah, you're right. Chris Pine does not fucking hurt when the argument comes up. Like,
what'd you like about this movie?
Chris Pine for one. Like, Man, what an attractive human being. You can stare. I can stare at you all day.
The first time I saw this movie, I did not know Chris Pine could act that way.
Yeah, he did an incredible acting job. I have been a fan of Ben Foster since I saw him in a Dennis Quaid movie called Pandorium, sci-fi movie, and I thought he was incredible. And I love every Ben Foster movie I've seen. He's an incredible actor. He was incredible in this. It's hard for me to pick a favorite character in this movie because it's probably Ben Foster, but I feel like it shouldn't be.
Do you know who Ben Foster's married to in real life?
No.
He is married to Donna from that 70s show. Laura Pepperin, I believe is her name.
Nice.
But he just took her from Eric Foreman.
Way to go, Ben Foster. I like I mentioned, I loved the chemistry between all of the characters in this movie. I loved the long shots, and I loved how the director did these long shots in a very unique way that I don't normally see in westerns, because they were close up with the brothers talking a lot, and then you had the long shots behind the brothers of the landscape, and I thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah, so the things that really stood out to me that you haven't mentioned, the acting in this movie's top notch by all four kind of lead actors. But
Agreed.
what really stood out to me, the pacing in this movie, it might have been a little slow for you. The pacing in this movie for me, perfect.
No,
Could not get any better.
I already said I wasn't bored from one moment. Like from the moment it started till it ended, the pacing's incredible.
Taylor Sheridan is one hell of a screenwriter, and this script is on point.
Yeah, the script's lights out. Hell, the director did a great job. Like, did you notice those weird long shots that I'm talking about?
No, I didn't, but I did notice, because it's taking place in West Texas, that you don't get that kick-ass landscape that you get in other westerns. And I liked it, but I was disappointed at the same time, if that makes sense.
I think watch it again thinking about what I said about those long shots, because I felt like I got enough of the landscape from westerns. Like, obviously I didn't get what I normally get out of westerns, but I felt like I got enough, and how they did it, I felt really good about it.
I have to bring this up too. Quigley Down Under, if you're listening, this is how you score and soundtrack a western. Hot damn, it was good.
The soundtrack's incredible, but so is Quigley's. You can go fuck yourself. But the soundtrack, I mean, I hate country music, and I went to listen to every song on the soundtrack. Incredible soundtrack. What'd you not like about this movie?
There's not one thing I didn't like about this movie.
Me too. Which leads us into an obvious answer for our next question. This is clearly a good movie.
This is a great movie.
Yes, a great movie. Agreed. And now we're on to it.
We're going to get deep into this movie.
Real deep. As deep as we can possibly go. Mount Rushmore of scenes.
Whew, man. I'll go ahead and start. My fourth favorite scene is the robbery of the bank and post. The very last bank robbery, starting from them entering the bank through the assault rifle shootout of civilians, but it ends before the final shootout with the Texas Rangers and other police forces. But just that little stretch is it's awesome. It's fun. Everybody having guns and shooting back at Ben Foster, Chris Pine getting shot. It's good. It's fun. It's exactly what I wanted, kind of at this critical junction in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Good fourth scene. My fourth favorite scene is the most random scene in the movie. I could not help myself. I really wanted to pick another scene, but when the Texas Rangers are posted up outside of the Midland Bank and they're ordering food from the old lady in the restaurant. And she's like, "What don't you want?" And they're like, "What? What don't you want? Do you have this? Let me tell you something. We I've served here for 45 years and not one person orders nothing else besides a T-bone steak and a load of baked potato."
We had one
One guy
guy from New
tried it
York
back.
in 1987 ask if we had trout. We ain't got trout.
Now what don't you want? Do you not do you don't want the corn or do you don't want the green beans? I don't want the green beans. Me neither. All right. 2 T-bone steaks, medium rare. Medium rare. That wasn't a question.
Iced teas for both of you?
And I'm just like, I've met that woman. Not her specifically, but I grew up in small town Texas. I've met that woman. So that was my fourth favorite scene. I thought it was so funny.
All right. My third favorite scene is the opening scene of them robbing the first two banks. You have the Towns Van Zant song
too.
playing in the background, Barry in the
This is my
car.
this is my third favorite scene too.
It's a fantastic way to start a
Yeah.
movie.
I loved Ben Foster saying, "Tell me I'm stupid again." just his pure aggression and anger and uncontrolledness was insane to capture with a mask on, and they did it.
And this is such a good job. And I don't know if this is the actors or the director or what, but as soon as this scene ends, which it's what, about a 4.5 minute scene,
Something like that.
I know all I need to know about both Ben Foster and Chris Pine.
Yeah, it's got to be both director and actor. It's got to be both. I'm thinking, and the thing we haven't touched on this scene yet is this is another quintessential small town Texas scene, just like my number 4. That old guy had a gun, and they
Of
didn't
course
take
he
it away.
did.
They didn't take it away from him far enough, and even though they were stealing from the bank, it's because they put him in danger, and you're gonna get your ass shot at. Don't come to Texas and fuck around.
Can I say one thing that I also loved about this movie?
Of course.
How polite everybody was. like even Ben Foster's like, "Get the fuck on the ground, sir."
Yeah. That is Texas as fuck too. But and like you said, like I love the car chase, and I know there wasn't really a car chase in the scene, but they shot it like there was a car chase, and I loved Ben Foster the whole time. I ain't spading. I ain't spading. Slow down. I ain't spading. But
did you see you and David in these two characters?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Okay, so your number 2 favorite scene.
This might shock you, but it's the final shootout scene with Ben Foster up in the mountains, Chris Pine getting stopped at the checkpoint. I thought it was such a good job to kind of have that little gap to break up the bank robbery and post and the shootout with the cops, even though they didn't break it up by a whole lot. Because one of my least favorite things in movies is the freaking 30-minute final action scene.
Mm-hmm.
But them breaking those kind of into two different scenes, I thought was just absolute genius.
Okay. So my number 2 favorite scene, my last 2 scenes are my 2 big cheat scenes. And my number 2 scene starts at the bank robbery and post. And all of the stuff that you said. I loved how busy the bank was. I love that all these Texans were ready with their fucking guns. The truck chase was awesome. But I kept it going because I enjoyed them splitting up. I enjoyed them telling each other that they loved each other, because that was the last time they were ever going to see each other again, and they both fucking knew it.
Ben Foster knew he was sacrificing his life for Chris Pine.
Yes. And Chris Pine knew
when he
that.
went up in them hills.
Well, and Chris Pine, even though Chris Pine told him not to do anything stupid, he knew exactly what was going to happen. There was no question from either one of them.
And I think Ben Foster, this whole movie, knew he was going to do that.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And Chris Pine knew he was going to do it too.
I don't know if Chris Pine knew he was going to do it the entire time they were doing it. I thought Chris Pine thought that maybe there was a way they could do it without that. But the more things went down, which is another reason I thought that scene was so intense. And then I take this through the sniping on the ridge and Chris Pine getting through the checkpoint. Like, for me, it all ran together and it was all amazing. And then you get Ben Foster going, Lord of the Plains, that's me. And then instantly shot.
Yeah, I really wanted to separate these two scenes just to talk about what a smart idea it was to kind of put those separation in it, so you don't feel like you're watching a 30-minute final Marvel style final fight scene.
Oh, 100%. And these are two different scenes. For me, they run together, and I had to include them both as the same scene. I cheated.
Oh, I am really interested in what your first scene's going to be.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's my big cheat scene, and it was one of my favorite aspects of this movie. It's every time the brothers are by themselves talking and the long shots we get in these scenes. So the first time this happens, they're talking about mom outside. And then they go inside and into her room. The second time this happens, they have that long talk in the car, and you have another long shot scene, and then you have the gas station where Chris Pine beats the ever-loving fuck out of that guy in the car.
Yeah, but he got his brother, Mr. Pibb.
He did get his brother, Mr. Pibb. And then the last time this happens is a long shot of them drinking at dusk, and you get one of the best lines in the movie. You like him pissed off, looking for someone to blame.
Is this the scene? Is that the scene where they start wrestling with each other, or
Yes.
kind of like play fighting?
Yes.
Incredible scene.
Yes. That's those are my number one scenes from this movie. Each one of them, I felt the love, I felt the chemistry, I felt the brotherliness, and then to just match it with the incredible scenery.
I do. I am springing this on you, so I feel kind of bad. But as somebody who is in a tight relationship with their brother, is this one of the best brother movies you've ever seen?
Yeah. For sure. I mean, there's a reason this is my number one scene.
That's a very fair scene, and I salute you, because I went on a limb on this one too. And I'm not saying this is the best scene in the movie. I'm not saying go to YouTube and rewatch it. I definitely cheated, because I think this sums the movie up the best. I start this scene when they go into the lawyer's office after leaving the casino. And the lawyer tells them everything to do. They obviously drop the hell or high water, drop the title in the script. Incredible. Mm-hmm. We love when they do that.
Love it.
I run this all the way through. I have your scene in the diner with the rattlesnake of a waitress. It also contains the Chris Pine visiting his ex-wife and his son that he hadn't seen in over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to make everything right to him. Incredibly touching scene. Knows his kid's pissed at him, goes and gets him a beer, tells him not to be like him. Incredibly touching scene. And the coup de grace of this scene is when Jeff Bridges and his partner are outside of the restaurant looking at the bank. And Jeff Bridges' partner gives the speech. My ancestors owned all this 150 years ago. As far as the eye can see, it was taken from them. Now it's being taken from these people, but not by an army, by them. As he points at the bank, just
Mm-hmm.
mwah, mwah,
Yep.
chef's kiss. Fantastic monologue,
Yeah.
fantastic scene. This
Yeah.
is where the movie could have gotten boring and could have lost a lot of people, but it stays just awesome that entire stretch. I know I just put like 5 scenes together, but I don't give a shit. They were awesome.
No, that's a great choice for your number one scene too. The only thing that I'll touch on that you didn't touch on out of his monologue is him starting off telling Jeff Bridges that you were once an Indian too. Some
I think he said his ancestors once lived in caves.
Well, I mean, whatever he said, he was alluding to the fact that y'all were basically Indians too, until someone came along and took all your shit away and made it theirs and made you one of them.
Yes,
It
yeah, that's
it
right
just
before that big monologue. It
Yep.
was touching.
Yep. He just like it just happened earlier for your people than it did mine. Mine was 150 years ago. And I was like, oof. Oof. Great scene. Good choice. Love that.
Great Rushmore, Jacob. I do want to shout out to the final scene of
between Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
Let me tell you a little something about that scene, if you don't mind.
Of course not.
The final scene of the movie was shot on Chris Pine's last day on the film and Jeff Bridges' first day. It's the only scene the two share together in the entire film.
Nice one-day scene.
Right? Like, it felt like their chemistry, they had been working on it the whole time. Due to his tight schedule with Star Trek Beyond, Chris Pine was only available for 2.5 weeks. So all his scenes had to be shot very rapidly and in sequence to maintain the required level of energy.
So they basically did the Hallmark shitty Christmas movie with Chris Pine.
Yeah,
they're like, you got 2 weeks, bro. Go.
Yeah, in a movie this intense, and then he ended all of that intense filming with his first day with Jeff Bridges in this final scene, and the final scene was great.
Yeah, I couldn't go without either of us mentioning that scene.
Fair enough.
Oh, you ready to break down these characters?
Oh yeah, let's break them down.
All right. Want to start with our boy Chris Pine?
Yeah, sure. One of the most attractive people to ever grace the Hollywood screen.
I don't think you could make Chris Pine ugly if you tried.
I don't think so either.
I didn't know he had this in him when I saw this movie because, he was hot guy Captain Kirk, kind of real snarky, and I kind of thought that's what he was, and he pulled out some heavy emotion in this movie.
Yeah. Totally agree. I don't really have much else to say about Chris Pine other than I thought that he killed it. He sold me on his character, and I really liked his quiet, angry character more than I normally like out of people. What about his brother Ben Foster?
Manic performance that never that out of control.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I don't think I could. I don't think I could have said that better.
Who's her for? 1996 Cage.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, no, Ben Foster was awesome. And I'm assuming this is the brother you connect with?
Yeah. Duh.
I loved him in the casino. I loved him driving. I loved how angry and polite he was at the same time. This was a very tough role to pull off, and I'll be damned he did it.
Oh my God. The casino scene with him is so intense when he sees who Chris Pine's talking to at the bar.
Yeah.
Oof.
he did not want her to see Chris Pine's dick.
No, he did not. I'm sure he would have been fine if it was Michael Douglas. Show us your dick, Michael Douglas.
I don't know how we worked that in during this podcast.
I don't know either. As soon as you said that, I was like, "We can do it. We can do it." This is what an alley-oop looks like.
He was so charming to the desk clerk at the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, love Ben Foster. He really nailed the fuck out of this role.
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about this performance. It was great.
Our boy Jeff Bridges.
The dude.
Love Jeff Bridges. Love him in westerns. I mean, I love him in anything. I'll watch anything with Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, great role for him. Kind of surprised he did it because I don't know, but I guess when you get to that age, you see a script you're like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it.
Hell yeah.
And he nailed it. He did exactly what that character was supposed to do. His reaction after his partner got shot is probably the best acting he does in this movie.
Yes.
I'm heartbroken when he went and laid over his partner like that. I was a mess.
Oh, when he got shot, I was like, wow. Wow, I cannot believe that. That got me hard.
That's weird, dude.
Whoa, I didn't mean it that way. That did not get me hard that way.
It got you cinema hard?
It got me cinema hard. Thank you. And now for our last character, Gil Birmingham.
What an understated, underrated performance that I thought really kind of made this movie go.
Totally agree.
It would have been very easy to just cast somebody who's basically there just for Jeff Bridges to make fun of him because he's half Native American, half Hispanic. But they did not do that. They used him well. He gave, in my opinion, the most moving speech monologue of the movie. I thought he was smart. I thought he was actually respected by Jeff Bridges, even though Jeff Bridges kind of treated him like an asshole. I thought this was a really good performance from him.
I agree. I don't think I could say anything more on that. He was just incredible. I mean, every character in this movie was.
Can I throw two characters who you may or may not have recognized? I'm assuming you recognized the waitress. Fuck you, Jeff Bridges, for taking her tip. Let her have the tip.
Yep.
You don't need that for evidence.
Nope.
Did you notice who that was?
I feel like I should.
That was Kenny Powers' wife, April Big Cannons from Eastbound and Down.
That is Kenny Powers' wife from Eastbound and Down. Okay, what's the next one?
When Ben Foster went and robbed the bank that was next door to the diner.
Yeah, with the little teenage girl.
Did you know who that teenage girl is? That's our girl Amber Midthunder from Ray.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Wow, I see it now. I see it now. What the fuck? That's awesome.
Yeah, had to shout out those two.
Had to,
because we like both of those actors.
Yes, we do. Great call out. I have some pretty good trivia and facts for this movie.
You do?
I do.
I
think you'll enjoy them. The phrase "come hell or high water" typically means do whatever needs to be done no matter the circumstances. It also refers to the hell or high water clause in a contract, usually a lease, which states that the payments must continue regardless of any difficulties the paying party may encounter. Both definitions apply to different parts of the plot in this movie.
Did not know the second one. Title makes a lot more sense.
Yep. Come Hell or High Water, as well as Tenderfoot and Greenhorn, originated in the Cowboy Milieu, meaning that the ones leading the trek were prepared to continue to the end no matter what, especially when crossing a river with a high tide, something that made the cattle nervous and touchy, making them prone to drown.
All right. All right. Good
Yep,
start. Good start.
right. The film is dedicated to David John Mackenzie and Ursula Sybil Mackenzie, the parents of director David Mackenzie. Both died while he was making this film. You can also see references to them by their initials, along with these years showing up on certain license plates throughout the film.
Man, that's sad. Both of his parents died as he's essentially making his, kind of big time director. It's not his debut, but it's kind of his first like real well thought of movie.
Mm-hmm. When Toby offers his son a beer, Texas is one of 10 states that allows underage minors to consume alcohol in specific locations, such as the privacy of home or in the presence of consenting and supervising family members.
What do we call that, Jacob?
We call that grooming, BJ. We fucking call that grooming. And let us both tell you, as servers from the great state of Texas, it is the most annoying thing when a parent asks me if their 17-year-old can have a beer with them because it's legal in Texas. Go fucking do it at home. No restaurant does that shit.
No. That's where you just say, sorry, restaurant policy.
Yep. I don't want to know that you let your 17-year-old drink with you. Go do that shit at home, you inbred fuck.
Groom them on your own time.
That's fucking right. In the scene involving the thugs at the gas station, as Ben Foster notices his drink as a Mr. Pibb, he complains about wanting a Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper was invented in Waco, Texas, and most fans of the drink consider Mr. Pibb a poor attempt at copying Dr. Pepper and usually refuse to even drink it.
Yes, that is for you listeners. That trivia was not for me because I knew
Yes.
that.
Yeah, of course you did.
You knew it too.
Of course I did. I'm from fucking Texas. Whether I like Dr. Pepper or not, I know Mr. Pibb is garbage.
And only assholes drink it.
And only assholes drink it. Only Stevie Stoners fart. Damn, I tried to make that better. Got to bring up Jay and Silent Bob as much as I can. It was originally titled Comanchera, but was changed after a title competition between interns at one of the production companies. The title that won was Hell or High Water. However, in some countries like Spain, the title is still Comanchera, so Comanchera. It's like Comanche. Probably because the cliche within the title does not translate properly.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Like it's a saying. They don't always. They translate real weird into other languages sometimes.
Yeah. Comancheria, the film's original title, is the region of New Mexico, West Texas, and nearby areas occupied by the Comanche before the 1860s. That also would have been a fitting title. Both titles are fitting.
Yeah, but that doesn't quite roll off the tongue like Hell or High Water does.
It doesn't, which is probably why they changed it. The uncredited role of Texting Girl was played by Mary Bowman, who was the assistant of the extras casting director at the time. She cast herself in that role.
I would do the same thing. Give me that check, baby.
Screenwriter Taylor Sheridan drew much of his inspiration from the TV miniseries Lonesome Dove, having earlier read Larry McMurtry's 1985 Pulitzer Prize-winning novel on which the series was based. And the miniseries Lonesome Dove is fucking amazing if you've never seen it.
Robert Duvall,
Tommy Lee Jones, Danny Glover, Chris Cooper, Robert Urich. So many good people in this miniseries. Have you seen it?
I have not seen the miniseries.
Oh, dude, the next time it rains for 3 days in a row, make some chili, sit down and watch Lonesome Dove.
I can't tell you how many times I've picked that book up at a bookstore or the library and looked at the 900 pages and said, "Nope."
I mean, now that I'm halfway through the second or A Song of Ice and Fire book, I'd probably be down now, but I get what you're saying. When Tanner stops, oh wait, no. A lot of the extras used in the Clovis and Portales scenes were firefighters from the local area and Canon AFB. So, shout out local firefighters.
All right. Yep.
When Tanner stops the Bronco and shoots his AR-15 M4 at the townspeople following the final bank robbery, he does several quick reloads. The first, he slaps the bolt release, indicating the bolt locked back on the final round from the first magazine. The second reload, he pulls the jungle-style magazine out and turns it over for the third magazine. He does not rack the bolt carrier group, which may mean he reloads at least one round still in the second magazine. Reloading MIG magazine is a common quick reload method and is still taught today, especially for intense situations where racking a slide or dropping a bolt takes extra time.
I thought it looked dope as hell.
I did too. Okay. Tanner uses a Colt M933 select fire platform in the town shootout. This carbine is capable of firing 700 to 950 rounds per minute at an effective range of 400 meters.
Damn.
He could easily have used the same carbine shooting at the state troopers and rangers at the end with a far higher capacity than the Winchester Model 70. However, he may have been out of ammo for the Colt.
Might have had a better scope on the Winchester too.
Well, he also might have not wanted to kill that many people.
Well, and when you're talking about long distance sniping, like you want your gun, right? You don't just want a gun, you want your gun.
Yes, correct. I did this last bit of trivia on purpose. Are you ready for how I ended the trivia for this movie?
Yes.
The movie features 3 big-name actors and tested well with audiences. However, the film did not receive a wide release into theaters or major publicity. This was because advertisers didn't want to be associated with the film promoting retribution against financial institutions who feed off the working class.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck off.
First of all, fuck you for telling me that trivia. Secondly, fuck movie studios for doing that shit.
But first, me.
Well, let's just get right into impressions then.
Let's do it.
As we know, there are a lot of funky sayings we have in Texas. We're each going to do a couple of our favorites in our West Texas accent.
Do a West Texas accent for me one more time without doing one of your lines.
So it's different than the East Texas accent. It's much quicker. It's much sharper. It's more of a twang than a draw.
Okay, I'll do my best. Let's go.
It's hotter than 2 badgers fucking in a wool sock.
Okay, that's good.
It's colder than a witch's tit in a brass bra.
Okay.
And here's one my old man used to say to me. Boy, you about as worthless as gum on a boot heel.
I love that. All right, here I go. As the East Texas kid doing West Texas accent. There ain't a coon dog's chance in hell.
Never knew what that meant. I mean, I know it means there's not a chance, but I guess coon dogs don't go to hell. They all go to heaven. Is that the deal?
Well, I guess coon dogs typically get what they're chasing.
Oh, okay.
He's so cheap he wouldn't give a nickel to Jesus riding a bicycle.
I like it. I like that one. I've never heard that one before.
God damn it. It's hotter than a jalapeno's coochie.
Whew, man. So how was doing West Texas? Did it feel wrong?
It was weird talking with a twang and fast. Like I like the slower, like, How y'all
Drawing
doing?
out the
Yeah.
words.
How y'all doing out here tonight? Well, I'm having a gosh darn good time, and I can't wait to get on y'all's level.
Well,
That's how I like it.
pretty good impersonations. We hope you guys learned a new saying or two. Feel free to say them to people.
Yeah, or comment on our social media with other Texas or Southern sayings.
Let us know what your favorite is.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on the movie. What's your rating of this incredible movie?
You know, watching this, when I finish this movie, I have a new rule that if a movie's going to be above a 9, I have to feel a certain way when it ends. When Pineapple Express ended, when Knives Out, which unfortunately did not make the recording, but when that movie ended, Bull Durham, Die Hard, I had this euphoric feeling when they ended. I did not get that feeling in this movie, even though
Weird.
I loved everything about it. So I've got to go with an 8.9 because I got to stick by my new rule of anything above a 9, I got to feel it in my heart, man.
Gotta feel it in your heart. 8.9.
8.9.
8.9 is a strong rating.
This is a strong, strong movie.
My rating's a 9.1.
Okay.
This movie is incredible.
It's so good. It's
And
so good the whole way through.
That feeling that you say you want, I don't know how you didn't feel that after this movie, especially after that last scene. Like, I know that last scene didn't make either one of our Mount Rushmores, but just take a moment. If you ever want to finish this conversation, I live in town at the motel. Stop by. Maybe I can bring you some peace.
Maybe I'll bring it to you.
Whoa.
No, I should have. And maybe if I watch it again, maybe I will feel that. So ratings are subject to change, but there's not a lot wrong with this movie, if
No.
anything.
Yeah. Should they remake it? Hell yes.
Of course.
Remake it every
love-
time you can.
I love the bank being a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Because they fucking are.
Predatory loans.
And now we have good and bad IMDb reviews.
So that means some people don't like it as much as we do.
Correct. The first person, he liked it as much as we did. This is by Rick J. Walsh 13, titled Refreshingly Original, Brilliantly Acted, Thoughtful Western Crime Film.
So far, so good.
In a summer, or should that be year or decade, of vapid sequels, remakes, and overblown superhero catastrophes,
That would be decade. Yes.
who would have expected an entertaining, intelligent, well-crafted, suspenseful, character-driven, modern-day Western with a brain? Riding on Taylor Sheridan's razor-sharp script and David Mackenzie's nuanced direction, Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, and especially Ben Foster, along with everyone else who appears on screen, inhabit this film as a wirily humorous, heartfelt, vicious, painfully tragic, and realistic members of a society reaping the fruits it has tragically sown. Best film so far this year.
I don't agree with a word of that. I don't disagree with a word of that.
I don't either. This is a really good review.
Nailed it. Great review. Usually we do funny ones, but that one was so good.
Yeah, thank you. And really, thank you, Rick J. Walsh 13. Now for my bad one by Alexander whatever 27, titled I'm Simply Shocked, triple exclamation mark, 1 out of 10.
You know, this is one of those movies where, like, even if it's not your cup of tea, how do you not at least kind of like it?
I don't know. I simply cannot understand how this movie got nominated for Best Picture Oscar. I got bored in the first 20 minutes like never before. The fact that its screenplay got also nominated for Oscar simply gives me goosebumps. This only confirms me that Academy Awards doesn't worth capitalizing anymore. It's only politically and financially influenced.
This movie had a $12 million budget and wasn't widely released.
Why wasn't it widely released? Because advertisers didn't want to be associated with a film promoting retribution against financial institutions who feed off the working class.
And what in this 20 minute, what in the first 20 minutes bored you?
Right? Spoiler alert. Can someone explain me how the little brother didn't end up getting arrested in the end of the movie? With dozens of witnesses and even him identified by policemen after splitting cars? Simply
He
unreal.
he
I could
wasn't identified by policemen. He was wearing a mask the entire time. And just because you know someone does it, you still have to prove it. And there was no proof.
I know, BJ. He goes on to say, I could rewrite this movie while going to toilet in a single morning and improve it.
So does
And
he
what
sit on the toilet for an entire morning?
I guess so.
He needs to lay off the Taco Bell, man.
No kidding. Drink more apple juice, bro. And what really scares me the most are other user ratings and this rating on IMDb. But I guess this is what 21st century is all about. Lying, lying, and keep lying all the time on TV, in media, in movies, on blogs. Lie as much as you can. Smiley
What
face.
what
Smiley
does
face.
what does that mean?
I don't know.
What, so are they lying that banks weren't giving out predatory mortgages? Or predatory loans, I should say. But what you know what I'm saying.
I do. I have no idea what this guy's talking about. Not the faintest clue.
I, I don't know what the movie lied about. I don't know. Or is he saying like IMDb's lying on the rating?
I think he's talking about the movies lying.
Whatever.
Yep, he's an idiot. No, he's talking about the ratings. You're right, but he's saying that you can lie everywhere on TV, in media, in movies, on blogs.
I don't know why he wrote. Whatever. Let's move on.
And yeah, so should people watch this movie? The answer is an unequivocal hell yes.
Even if you don't like westerns, it really didn't feel that much like a western to me, but it still felt like a western in a really weird and really good way. I would recommend this movie to anybody, even people that don't like westerns.
Oh yeah, 100%. Watch this movie. This movie's awesome.
Great performances, great script, cool kind of concept without there's no actual bad guy. It's suspenseful. There's enough action, and neither of us were bored for a single second in this hour and 46-minute movie.
No, we were not. So go watch this movie, enjoy the fuck out of it, and also watch Wind River. It's written by the same guy. You'll love it.
That's us at I Remember My First Time.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on Reddit. We're on the things. Follow us.
At IRMFT Pod on pretty much all of them. Bye.